tremendous looking trophy.
Welcome to Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me, as always, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here and excited to not buy Plague Tale, which is probably going to be PS Plus this week.
Fuck's sake, I should have known because I should have known. This is my problem. So behind the scenes for ExplosionNetwork.com, everyone, anytime I mention something before recording a podcast about how I took it out off the show notes for a reason, or let's not talk about it for a reason, or something, Ash just always makes sure to bring it up. So then then it's up. Like, I deleted it. So now we're talking about it. So now this is the thing.
I mean, what if it isn't?
All right. So in case anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, because fuck it now, right? So there's all these rumors that Plague Tale...
PS5. Yeah.
Innocence is the first one? Plague Tale Innocence?
Yeah, Plague Tale Innocence, yeah.
Is apparently coming to...
The Rat Game.
So, the Rat Game, yeah. They got a sequel announced called Plague Tale Thing.
Requiem.
Requiem, there you go. Glad you remember. So there's rumors that that's going to be your PlayStation game, PlayStation Plus PS5 game for July. Now, the reason I wasn't going to talk about it is because we're recording this on Tuesday night. This is coming out, obviously, Wednesday morning, as per usual. And it's very likely that PlayStation Plus games are just announced in that time period. So there's not really much point talking about them. But now here we are, thanks to Ash and his fucking...
You're welcome.
What you have to do. Anyway, I'm excited because I've brought that game on Steam. I think I've covered this on podcast before. Very excited for Plague Tale. Remember seeing it at E3? Was really excited. It came out. I had to review something else. Then I had to review something else, and then it just fell down the pile, and I never actually played it. So that's the thing that happened. And I brought it on Steam one day. I was like, yeah, I'll fucking play it finally. Never played it. Then it came to Game Pass. I was like, well, there's an option if I want to play it on console. Still haven't played it. Then they announced at E3 that they were doing the PS5 or next-gen upgrade. 60 frames, 4K, prettier, blah, 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 DualSense features. All that stuff. I'm like, cool. That's the version I want to play then. There's definitely no point in me playing the old one. And then when all these rumors started about it coming to PlayStation Plus, I was like, cool. The one place I don't own or am able to play the game currently, rumored to come there. I hope it does now, because that's actually where I prefer to play it. Apparently it's an easy platinum, so...
Yep.
Got there. So there you go. Rat Game, coming soon, maybe. We don't know.
Rat Game. What do you think? Predictions for the other two?
Of all the games in the world, you're going to try and predict the next two games?
I'm going to predict the other two.
All right, you go for it. Go for it.
I'm going to say Ghost Runner.
Really?
The other PS4. Yep. I'm just looking at what's on sale at the moment. That's usually a hint.
Is that? Is it?
Yeah. I mean, normally it's like 2 weeks before the thing is on sale, because I see everybody in the comments when these games get announced.
I just brought this game.
I bought this on sale.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. And the second game's Knack 2.
No, it's too early.
It's been long enough.
No, it's too early. You can't check Knack 2 in... The time that Knack 2 is on PlayStation Plus, it's the main game. It's not some fucking little side hustle.
No, they're not going to do a PS5 version of Knack 2. I'm sorry, as much as everybody wants the Knack trilogy that they're making to be.
It's going to happen. Where do you think Mark Cerny's doing now that he's done with the PS5? He's making Knack 3. Right? What the fuck else does he do? He makes Knack 3, then he makes Knack 4, and then he makes the PS6. Like, I'm pretty sure that's
Knack Forever. That's what it'd be.
There we go.
Just,
crossover with Fast and Furious. By the way, side note, I know it's unrelated, but there isn't much to talk about. Quick side note about Fast and Furious 10, right? So, everyone, in case you Fast and Furious, go listen to our podcast. It's about family, Fast and Furious podcast. We talk about Fast and Furious 9 on that. It's very good. You go listen to that. Anyway, we both like the movie. So I saw someone tweet today, can't remember who, and I was like, yeah, that's right. Because they officially have now said that, like, Justin Lin's doing 10, 2 parts, cool, awesome, let's go. Part 1, call it Fast. Part 2, call it Furious, right? Oh, shit. Anyway, let's talk about video games. Alright, so one game to talk about impressions of Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, which came out last week. It's on everything. We've played a couple hours. We played a couple hours with Buddy and Kieran last night, and then we played for like, I don't know, nearly an hour afterwards or something. I can't remember. It's a game, that's for sure. It's a game that has button inputs and your character on the screen does something. The best way to describe this game, I feel, for people who don't know what it is, obviously it's set in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. I was really excited when it came out because they announced that Drizzit? That's his name, right? I think. I can never say it right. I can never say it right. It's like Drizzit, but it's spelled
got
like,
a lot of Z's.
It's a lot of Z's and a lot of I's. Famous big D&D character everyone loves from... were they Baldur's Gate?
D&D.
Or, no, I can't remember what game is it. Anyway, he's in it. The game is a 4-player... You can play it by yourself, but it's a 4-player co-op hack and slash game. It's basically a Diablo-esque game, whatever, like a hack and slash looter, but in a third-person scheme. And by comparing it to Diablo, I don't mean in quality because it's nowhere near as good as that, but that's the type of game it is. It's a hack and slash looter RPG, but in a third-person action perspective and not like a top-down twin-stick perspective. Do you feel like that's an apt description for what we're sort of playing as here? So,
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know that because obviously that's the game. If this was top-down, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's D&D Diablo. But it's in third person. There's not much to the combat on purpose, I feel, because that's the type of game it's trying to be. It's attack, build up special meter, use special meter. You can dodge and parry. I guess that's the thing. They're like, well, we'll bring it to a third person perspective so we can add some sort of stuff to it. So we've got a parry button and this sort of stuff. But for the most part, it is just walk around these levels, run into a horde of enemies, you fight a horde of enemies, that. It's very repetitive because that's the type of game it is. It's not It's not a deep RPG thing. It's a hack and slash looter. So it's
a hack and slash looter.
Yeah. There is a degree of look, I have a lot of complaints about this game, but I can't really fault you either would like this type of game or you would not like this type of game. But the thing is, I just don't think it's doing it the type of game it's trying to be is the problem. Yeah, I have no problem with them trying to do a third-person hack and slash looter. And if you're someone who's those games aren't for me, I find them quite boring in general. It's okay, well, that's fine. But it's just not doing a good job at being a hack and slash third-person looter. Mainly because... look, I honestly feel like this is one of those games, these rare occasions where within the first 10, 15 minutes, you're just this game ain't going to be good. And it does not get better.
Just the loading screen. I mean, it's... As someone who says graphics don't matter, everything looks the same. Even I was saying, ooh, this doesn't look good graphically. Doesn't it? It's not...
So it doesn't look great, but also
so that's what you guys were talking about in frames.
Yeah, it runs really poorly. And it's an actual PS5... a PS5 version of the game. It's obviously not optimized very well. Load screens, the frame rate drops atrociously at times. Thankfully, mostly not in combat. It's when you're going down elevators and stuff, it seems to drop to below 10, I swear to God. But even in combat, it very obviously has a max frame rate at 30, and it quite often would seem to dip to 20s. Yeah, that's when it becomes noticeable. Obviously, a lot of games sort of dip below that, we'll go 28, 29, 30, 28, 29, 30, and you don't really notice it, or most people don't notice it, but when it dips to 20, and you feel that stutter and stuff like that, you're ugh. So that's what we're dealing with here, which is obviously really annoying in a game that's supposed to be fast-paced. You're either I'm playing the archer character, so I'm flinging arrows around, and then sometimes it's the frames will skip a couple seconds, so I see her pull the bow back, and next second it's released. I'm well, what happened there? Where did the missing frames go for the rest of whatever I did there? And user flying around, I'll see you jump up into there, you're playing as a little dwarf or whatever, and then the frames will skip, and next second you've finished your combo, your special attack or some shit. I'm I don't know what's going on. So it's just it is a game it's a game that's game design is built around being repetitive, which is fine. Again, it doesn't make it fun. In a couple hours we played, it's just not super engaging. It's very much you're walking from one area to another, obviously facing waves of enemies. You have objectives. All the objectives are just mindless shit that's pretty much the same, gather thing, walk to the next part of the level, gather another thing. Like that one level, I was made a joke last night about how I swear this whole game is just going to be about gathering explosive barrels, and then at the end of the level, you place all the explosive barrels, it blows open the door, there's a mini boss fight. Next level, everyone. Yeah. Good job, And there's optional objectives, but they're very simple and not, seemingly so far, not even worth really. You don't get like a massive reward for doing them. It's just like, all right, well, have some more experience or something. I don't even know. Like, it's nothing mind-blowing. But yeah, because I was at first, I think I said last night, I was like, when I was playing, I was like, this is like Vermintide 2, Warhammer Vermintide 2, but shit. Or whatever, which is kind of how I was thinking it was, because Vermintide is a game that is fun. Has a similar sort of setup where it's 4 players, first person though, and it's like it has a like hub world, and then you go to a portal and you spawn into a level, and then you basically just clear waves and waves of enemies as you make your way across this level. It doesn't have like optional objectives or whatever else, but then obviously it's just about killing things, like mindlessly, like kill things or whatever else. But that game makes the abilities and stuff fun, and it runs better and it looks better, and that's where the phrase corner cucked come from. So there's Explosion Network history. So that's what I was thinking. But yeah, I just don't think it's very good. We're gonna play some more just for the obligation to.
Suckers for punishment.
Yeah, well, we got review codes, so I feel obligated to play a little bit more. Yeah. But this is definitely one of those games with the few hours we've put into it so far, where I'm like, I pretty much feel like we've already seen what the game has to offer in a gameplay perspective, and it doesn't really matter at this point if, because the one cool thing so far is I'll give it points for, maybe not each level, but jumping from, because each act has 3 levels, and then there's like 21 levels, and there's like 4 or 5 acts or whatever it is. I can't remember maths. 4 acts, I guess. They seem different enough, and they have got different, like the first one had like this ice, and you could take damage while freezing, and then we jump into the second one, it's like in a more green area, and there's like toxic stuff. So I'm like, I points for variety so far, I guess. But otherwise, like from a gameplay perspective, I really do so far feel like I've seen everything the game has to offer. I would like to try each character out just to like, I don't know, is one more fun than other. But even then, I don't feel like that's going to make too much of a difference. I've unlocked a bunch of abilities. I don't even fucking care. None of them are super exciting. The gear's not super engaging. Yeah, like so far, this is definitely in the disappointment pile, because I remember when they announced this. Really cool trailer. I know there was a lot of like people saying the music they chose for that opening CGI trailer thing they put out was like kind of shit. I was kind of into it. It was like corny, but I was into it. And I was kind of keen for this because I like these types of games, but no, so far not very good. But yeah, a full review will be on explosionnote.com. Maybe Kieran likes it more because he's like the D&D guy. Like he was playing as Driz, so
he gets to live his fanboy fantasies.
He's keen to play some more,
but I don't think
he was keen to play some more. He was shitting on it like we were to a degree, because and I mean shitting on like
it's rough.
It's very rough. Like we're not, obviously if you listen to this podcast, I don't feel like we come on here and shit on stuff unless it sounds mean to say it deserves it, but this isn't a very good video game, so my advice is not to play it. that's
not to pay however much it is at the moment.
Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts, or
is it CGI cutscenes look very good, don't really serve much of a purpose at the moment. They were kind of like unnecessary stuff. It seemed like this one we just had a bunch of goblins talking, and then one gets pushed off an ledge. Yeah.
There's like so many things like that though.
It looks very good, but
they try and add all this character and like stuff in those CGI cutscenes, and then they try to build on it in the levels when you're walking up to enemies and they're having these little conversations amongst one another. But then it breaks all sense of immersion when you like walk up really close to them. I begin firing arrows, and they're still talking. They're still talking to one another as I'm like hurting them. I'm like, all right.
The AI in this game is atrocious.
Yeah, it is very bad.
And it doesn't control well at all. But yeah. Yeah, it's a rough one. I think go back, pick up your PS2 copy of Lord of the Rings 3 Return of the King and play through that instead. That's a good action.
I like how you have like the whole, like several other generations of action adventure games or like hack and slash adventure games, and you're like, go back to your PS2. Go back to your PS2.
Yeah,
go all the way back there.
Go that far back.
Can you buy that on PS4? Like they never added that to the
I don't
thing.
think so.
It's on PS Now. We don't have it. Doesn't matter. But,
maybe. Who knows?
So yeah, I don't know.
EA Play probably.
Play Baldur's Gate. Play.
I guess.
Play.
Is Baldur's Gate an action RPG?
No, but I mean, if you want some D&D, I'm thinking if you want.
Like, if you want some
D&D actions, then play that or like what's that one? Divinity, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Play
what little bit you can play at Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah.
Play Disco Elysium, I guess. It's not D&D.
I guess that's a role playing game. Play Scarlet Nexus. That's got action RPG, right?
Play Scarlet Nexus. That's right. It is an action RPG. It's not a hack and slash, but it is an action RPG. And reviews up for that 8 out of 10. You should go check that out. If you want to hear me even talk about it, listen to this past Monday's episode of Arcade Couch. But yeah, if you want a good video game that's come out in the past week that I can recommend, that's on PlayStation. I played on PlayStation. Scarlet Nexus is the direction I would certainly steer.
Push,
yeah. Direction I would certainly be taking it. All right, let's cover a couple of news stories. There's not much this week, surprisingly. I was saying to Ash right before we started recording, I was like, fucking weird. Because usually, we moved the recording schedule and stuff to fit because we was missing news and the answer to Plus games. And usually it was missing news because we was recording Mondays, podcast release on Tuesdays. And then we obviously moved it to Wednesday. So now we mostly record Tuesdays, unless I have to do it Monday, which sucks because that defeats the purpose, but it happens every now and then. But obviously we record usually Tuesdays, which is good because Tuesday in Australia, Monday in America, usually news starts to drop. Usually if I'm awake Monday night, it reaches like midnight, 1 a.m. If I'm still awake then, and like shit starts rolling in. But today, this week, fucking nothing. So I don't know if there's going to be a heavy packed news cycle towards the end of this week because stuff starts happening. But anyway, no worries. PlayStation Lifestyle writes, Insomniac hiring for a multiplayer project including a creative director, story lead, systems designer, and more. One of Insomniac's next big titles appears to be a multiplayer focused game. The studio tweeted that it's hiring for assorted positions for a multiplayer project. So, they wrote, the job postings themselves don't offer much in the way of additional details on the Insomniac multiplayer project, but there are a few points that stick out. The story lead's positions, responsibilities include developing, quote, episodic and non-linear storylines, end quote. This is likely not referring to episodic games as we know them on the consumer side, like past Telltale games, etc., but rather evolving narratives told over time via live games, as well as stories with branching and interweaving plots. This role also requests, quote, experience with multiplayer narratives, end quote. Once again, hammering the point home that this is a multiplayer-focused project of some kind. The creative director role requirements talk about, quote, brand extensions like movies, books, graphic novels, web, DLC, and mobile games, end quote. And for the multiplayer system designer's position, doesn't really go into much specifics about what Insomniac might be making, aside from using overly broad terms like combat, navigation, blah, 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 blah. However, it does say that they'd like this role to have, quote, thorough understanding of melee combat systems, enemy design, and boss design, end quote, suggesting this probably isn't a resistance shooter. What do you reckon this is, Ash? Insomniac multiplayer game? Seemingly games of service, maybe? Or at least updated?
Maybe. There's a couple of options it could be. It could be the Ratchet & Clank sequel. It's 4-player co-op.
That quick. Let's straight into it.
Character.
Just came out.
Yeah.
You reckon?
They got an idea. Yeah. Like, maybe. Who knows? Some sort of spin-off.
Maybe.
It could be a crazy notion. It could be something Spider-Man related.
I think it's crazy.
It could be Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh.
You can play as a multitude of different Spider peoples from all the different alternate worlds. You know? All the different suits. You can play Spider-Ham, you can play as Spider-Gwen, you can play as Captain Britain, Spider-Man.
The only thing I'll throw into this is a couple weeks ago when we was talking about the Sony Animation Studios crossover with
Pixel Opus.
And we're kind of guessing that may have been a Spider-Verse game. if we still want to believe
that's
it
true.
is. So
I think this one's unlikely. I think that's unlikely. It could be. I know that we said it wasn't really a shooter, but it could be Sunset Overdrive. It could be something set in that world.
It's true, they have it back. So.
With the combat and that kind of stuff. With the traversal mostly, I think.
I guess, so instead of like trying to guess what it is, do you think it's more likely it's something for a franchise we already know about or a brand new one?
I feel like it's probably a brand new one.
Okay.
Something smaller, some cool idea that they've come up with. And because they've got the backing of PlayStation, they can just go and do whatever they want. Honestly, Insomniac can do whatever they want at this point, and like people would be stoked. They haven't done well. That's not true. I was about to say they haven't done a new IP since Sunset Overdrive. But I guess technically Spider-Man is new.
Spider-Man
IP
is a new
for them, but it's a known quality. Yeah. But they also have done a bunch of VR stuff as well. So
I highly doubt it's VR.
No, it's not going to be VR. I mean, that would be crazy. Like a multiplayer co-op VR game.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was that would be a killer app for the PSVR too. Yeah. But yeah, whatever they want to do, I'm happy with.
I would love for it to have been Resistance, but did you see? I don't remember. I don't think I ever just brought this up because I just didn't know where to fit it. But I remember there was a story a couple weeks ago or something going around. People were saying that apparently Resistance. They never did another Resistance game because it was too close to Sony felt like they had enough end of the world apocalyptic game because The Last of Us just came out and stuff like that. So that's the reason we never got another Resistance because of The Last of Us. So there you go.
Yeah, and then they get put out games. Days Gone, another apocalypse game, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much. So don't know why I would have.
Everybody loves the end of the world, so
we'll be there soon enough. You know what I'm saying? We'll be there soon enough. Yeah, you can.
Craziest.
Yeah, I'll delete everything you just said. It's what?
It's multiplayer. It's melee based, right?
Melee. I thought you said melee. He was like, it's Smash. Okay. Yeah.
You said it's melee based.
Yeah.
Multiplayer.
Yeah. You want to
PlayStation All-Stars.
You want to say it's PlayStation All-Stars? Yeah. I mean,
who else would you trust to do PlayStation All-Stars but Insomniac?
I don't know. See, I honestly, I have a thing with PlayStation All-Stars where in my head I go, I want that. But then I'm like, is my own brain like memeing on me? Like, is my own brain memeing to my consciousness? Like, do I actually want that?
Is the desire for lols so high?
Yeah. Like, do I believe that? When I say I want a PlayStation All-Stars, like a new one, do I believe that? Or is my brain just fucking with me as well? Like, because I think I want that. But I don't know if I'm just joking. I don't think I am, though. You know what I'm saying?
Let us know. Do you want a PlayStation All-Stars by Insomniac Games?
Yeah, I'll put that out. I'll make that a poll or some shit.
What do you think it's going to be?
I have no fucking clue, but that sounds great. I was thinking Spider-Man, obviously. I was just thinking it's a multiplayer Spider-Man project of some sort. Because I just feel like that's the money. A multiplayer Spider-Man game that's either live service or at least something that's updated semi-regular of content.
Or something smaller.
That feels like it's just waiting for money to just like be fucking dang. You know what I mean? Like that's money. That's content. That's what we love. That's what PlayStation wants. So like that thing is just going to print money. So make that game. Go for gold. By the way, every story this week's just I got two more and they're all fucking rumors. And you know what one I've saved for last if we haven't talked about it yet because it's a continuation of the and we'll get to that. Gamesradar writes Ghost of Tsushima mini sequel Ghost of Ikishima rumored for PS5. A new rumor claims that Ghost of Tsushima developer Sucker Punch Productions is preparing a small sequel titled Ghost of Ikishima. This is all coming from Twitter user and Xbox Era co-founder Shepshol Nick, who's actively leaked a few projects in the past. Over a series of tweets and replies, Nick claimed that Ghost of Ikishima is an expandable type game. Expand alone. All right, that's a made-up word, but I like it. Expand alone. I get it. It's expansion, and it's on its own. Expand alone. I get it. Gotcha. Roughly the size of Spider-Man Miles Morales, aiming for a 2021 release, presumably on PS5 and likely also PS4, given Sony's redoubled plans for cross-gen releases. Although this is wild and an unsupported claim, and it should be treated as such. However, a game of this description would make sense for a few reasons. Firstly, it's very plausible that Sony and Sucker Punch would push out a smaller game bearing the Ghost of Tsushima name to beef up the PS5 library in its first year, just as Insomniac Games did with Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PS5 launch. The rumored Ghost of Ikishima would, in theory, introduce the IP to the PS5, and assuming it's a cross-gen release, give the game's larger PS4 audience something else to buy it. It would also tide the PS5 over while we wait on other sequels. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, Ghost of Ikishima. Ash, do you hold any, give anything to this rumor? And B, does it sound like a good idea? And like C, what would that plot be? Do you reckon? Like, how do we?
I mean, yeah. I'd be keen for more Ghosts. I don't know what we would call the franchise going forward. You know,
just Ghosts, right?
Ghosts, more Jin. But I don't think it would be. You would assume it wouldn't be Jin based. It would be around another character or something. I don't know how it would work. I mean, unless you've got another samurai falling from grace, or you tell a story of another person who follows a kind of similar story, or is willing to cross the line, you know, the way Jin does at certain points throughout the game. You know, it could be interesting. I mean, I'm happy to get more content from Sucker Punch. I think this is unlikely. I think their big push was to get their multiplayer off the ground. I think that's what they put all their effort in. I don't think they've got another team working on, you know, a standalone game.
I mean,
I know this is the team that did like First Light and had like that was like a smaller game, but I think that team was doing the Legends game content.
What was the main team doing afterwards?
They're working on Ghost of Tsushima 2.
I mean, anything's possible.
I
wouldn't rule it out. I think this is actually quite plausible. Not only because I'm like, cool, I'd love this as a game, but just like these little mini, what's that word? Expand. What was that word?
Expand alone.
Expand alone. Yeah, I like that word. Expand alone is a Sony thing that they've grown to love. I mean, they've always sort of had it, and Sucker Punch has always done expand alones. So, like Sucker Punch, when I think expand alone, Sucker Punch is the one that's done the most that I'm aware of. Like they've done them all the way back to Infamous. So, you know, and then obviously Sony's grown a lot on these expand alone things. Uncharted, Spider-Man now. They seem to do really well. Everyone loved Miles. I think a lot of people, you know, including us, I believe, it's like when we talk about Miles Morales, we're like, fuck, can't we have one of these like every year or two instead of having to wait like 5 years for a sequel? You know, it's just like it was shorter, more concise, more digestible. It came around quicker. You know, I definitely think there's something to having these smaller games that don't feel rushed or unnecessary or like you know, Miles feels like a full game, great game, but yeah, and it helps tide you over to the next big entry. You know, like they're very good ideas. I think like having these smaller entries in between, or else it's like, oh fuck, like when's the next one coming out? 6 years from now? You know, like game don't take so long. You have to wait often on time. To be fair,
but then you get upset and you want a main game featuring the character that you're in a smaller game.
Yeah, I do want that. So that's a weird thing to complain about because, of course, back in the day, like movie sequels also took a lot longer to come out. People always bring up how long original Star Wars movies had between them, and like how everyone's a lot more impatient today. And that's the truth. Like everyone is a lot more impatient today. We have way more content. We have way more stuff to digest, be it movies, games, TV shows, what have you. So yeah, like
but we want more of the stuff we like.
Yeah. So
we don't want to try all this new stuff that's come out.
No, I don't know.
All these new ideas. We just want the same thing given to us again.
By the way, the other thing. So I googled Ikishima, trying to work out what that would be.
So it's Ik Island.
Yeah, that's what I found as well. So Ik Island, which apparently is Ikishima. This website says it is in the Tsushima Strait. It's a must-visit for beach lovers located between South Korea and the prefecture of Fukuoka.
Yeah, so it's like a neighboring island. So this is the another Mongols attacked that island. And there's another person who went on this parallel journey to Jin. It
fits what we was talking about when we was talking about like, oh, what's the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima? And was like, well, sure, he leaves the island now. Jin leaves the island to go like meet the Mongols on mainland Japan, right? Along like that's the end goal for the game, surely. So, like, having a mini spin-off be at another small island on the way, it works, you know? Like, and having the game set again on a small island.
And then Jin's going to lose all his abilities right at the start of the game.
But you know what I mean? Like, having it set on a small island as a smaller contained experience, like having a nice small island where it's like, okay, well, you know what you got to do? There'll be a bunch of missions, side missions. It's not too big. You can open up map, be like, it's a nice sized island. I can explore. You know, like, it just makes sense. Like, it's right for a spin-off, like a expand-alone. Love that word. Your favorite word today. So, yeah. That's what that is. But if you type Ikishima into Google, at first it's like, this isn't a place, but that's what that is.
I found a bottle shop in Japan.
I went straight to Japan, typed Ikishima, it took me to a bottle shop too, yeah. And last but not least, just to like, in case you somehow missed all this, I felt like since we spent some time on it last week, the blue box.
I've missed all this, so you'll have to fill me in.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on it because
I can't do this.
I'm sick of.
It's too close to home.
Yeah, so PlayStation lifestyle rights. Blue Box Game Studios abandoned real-time trailer. PS5 app delayed to August. They wrote, today won't be the day. So this was written on Friday. No, our Saturday when the app was originally supposed to come out because it was supposed to come out Friday in America last week, obviously. Today won't be the day eager players get to learn more about whatever Blue Box Game Studios has up its sleeve. The abandoned real-time trailers PS5 app has been delayed till sometime in August. Game director Hassan Cameron took to Twitter to reveal news of the delay in another video, thanking eager fans for their patience and support, saying, quote, the last few weeks was really stressful to us. Blah, 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 blah. Where the fuck did I just lost myself. The team is very tired. Even after repeatedly trying to debunk the conspiracy surrounding Studio in the game, some people just won't let it go, convinced that every move Studio makes is somehow a master move of Kojima. He continued and said, we were hoping to release the app today, and I know that a lot of you have been looking forward to it, so thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. However, I decided to delay the app until August. This is when the first trailer will also be released. We just wanted to give you a solid first impression of the game. Right now, the app isn't quite there. We just wanted to have it meet our own expectations at first. There was last-minute bugs that we had to deal with. The localization isn't fully complete. I hope you understand. I'm sorry for this, and I thank you for your support. So after we recorded last week, pretty much like an hour after we recorded, Hassan actually released the first video on that Blue Box Game Twitter account. Then everyone lost their fucking mind. So, I mean, nothing's really changed about, I don't think, how we talked about last week. It was fun for a while. Now it's reached a silly place. It was never Kojima.
But Dylan, do you know what else gets delayed?
Yeah, go on.
Kojima games.
People are literally in the responses to the video being like, I've seen screenshots of people breaking down how it's actually a CGI character. Like Hassan's a CGI character and not a real person and stuff like that. And then Kojima tweeted something the other day. He was tweeting about how he was watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. And people were circling the capital letters and being like, it spells out Blue Box or some shit like that. It's like, you've all lost your fucking damn minds. You've all literally lost you've gone past that point. So, I mean, there's nothing much. Everyone, in case you're not paying any attention to this, which, more power to you. I kind of wish I could. Didn't have to. People are still very much of the mind of, this is Kojima, it's all a bunch of bullshit. And then the other thing that happened when he posted that first video after we recorded last week, there was also a lot, and I'm not underselling this, there was a lot of people straight away being those fuckheads we was talking about, where they're like, you've lost me, you've wasted my time, fuck you, how dare you tease me, I was looking forward to new Silent Hills, fuck you, I was looking forward to Silent Hill, you fucking wasted my time, you got me hyped for nothing, fuck you. There was a lot of this, which is exactly what I was like, this is going to happen. This was always going to happen. And yeah, I don't know. They're in a very precarious position over there when August rolls around, because they're going to announce whatever Abandoned is. And it could be a brand new game. It could be another IP that's not Silent Hills, as we was talking about. Maybe it is. They've got that PlayStation relationship. I don't feel like that's sticking a tinfoil hat on too far to be like, maybe it's something else. But whatever it is, they've just the fuckheads on the internet are just going to dive down their throat. So yeah, internet.
Wow.
Gamers, hashtag. So that's the update on
remember back in the day when they said all publicity is good publicity?
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't think that's true anymore.
No, not to a degree. So there's your Blue Box Game Studios update. I'm not giving you one next week because hopefully there's not much happen, but that's
hopefully not.
That's the follow-up. We'll come back to it in August when I guess there's a trailer and the app and whatever. So that's that. And with that, that's also the end of the episode. You can let us know if you. What was we asking? Oh, yeah. Do you want a PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale 2? You can let us know.
Yeah.
If by heading to Twitter,
Insomniac.
Twitter, explosionout.com/Twitter will take you to our Twitters. Somewhere there, I might put a poll up after this for memes. You can also let us know on our Discord, explosionout.com/Discord. And if you like this episode, thought it was worth as little as $1, you can support us by giving us $1 or more, buying us a coffee. explosionout.com/support takes you right to our Ko-fi page. Buy some stuff. Donate. Support us supporting.
You can't buy anything.
You can buy us a coffee. You can buy us a coffee. It's a virtual coffee.
Oh.
You put the thing, it says buy a coffee.
Is that how it works?
Shut them up real good. You know, that's horrible. That's a fucking horrible noise. I'm sorry, headphones. Yeah, you don't like the episode anymore, do you? No, you've already done it. You don't get your money back now.
You can't do a refund.
Oh dear. All right. Until next week, remember that every trophy counts. Boy.